Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a special episode of Good Guys Sports. We will be giving you our thoughts on the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft the day after. Recording here on Friday. The first round of the draft took place yesterday, Thursday, April 23rd, 2026, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was a big occasion, lots of fans there in a passionate football city. And it was a very interesting first round of the draft, you have to say. Some picks that we saw coming if you listen to our mock draft last weekend, and some that were a bit of a surprise. So let me just start by I won't rattle off the entire 32 picks, but giving you a sense of the top 10. We had Mendoza to the Raiders, Bailey to the Jets, Jeremiyah Love to the Cardinals, Cardinal Tate to the Tennessee Titans at 4, Arville Reese to the Giants, Mansour Delane to the Chiefs, Sonny Styles to the Commanders,
Go
Jordan
Commanders.
Jordan Tyson to the Saints, Spencer Fano to the Browns, and then Francis Mayogo with the Giants' second pick in the top 10, and a couple other interesting picks that we'll get to later in the first round to start out with. But some interesting selections. Jackson, I'll start with you. If you had to pick one draft selection from last night that interests you, intrigued you, surprised you the most, where would you start?
For me, it has to be Ty Simpson to the Rams. And that is one of those picks that nobody even saw coming. You look at Ty Simpson of how he played out as a QB, where when he was at Alabama, there were times where he struggled in the SEC championship game in Atlanta against Georgia, and in the Rose Bowl game against Indiana. So there is a bit of a there is a bit of a up and down kind of season it if you go for Simpson, but I feel like Ty Simpson. Now, let's keep this in mind. Remember, the Rams had traded this pick from the Falcons, so that's something that what everybody should know and keep this in mind is that Ty Simpson in college that I think it's a surprising pick, and I'm nobody even saw it coming because in my opinion, he should have been picked in the later second and third round. Nobody even instead he goes first round overall for the for 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 the one of the top 10 picks for the 13th overall pick in the first round, and it just really shows you that Sean McVay, who knows how to develop quarterbacks and
He did seem
knows,
happy about the pick.
well, yeah, I mean,
Or
well, I wouldn't say he's happy, but I think
he
Cooper
seemed a bit
Cup in
surprised.
this Rams team, I think that
Well,
look,
Cooper Cup doesn't play.
I
You
could
mean Devontae Adams
well
and
Devontae Adams and
Puka Nacua?
Kyron Williams and those guys, yes, I think for me,
It's a win now team, right?
yes, it is, and there's still a big question mark on if this is Matthew Stafford's last ride and run it
Sure. He's 38.
as a career QB. Yes, so I think after this season, there's going to be a big question mark because you have Stetson Bennett and Jimmy Garoppolo in their quarterback roster. So I think so. Let's say if Matthew Stafford retires after this season, then I say you you start Ty Simpson and you make things more interesting. And I say that if you start with Ty Simpson that as a QB, then I think that then to me, I say it's going to be both Seattle and the Rams head to head, one of the best teams in the NFC West by far, and 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 so I think Sam Darnold and Ty Simpson I think are going to be the future
Well,
of
let's
of this of this quarterback league in the NFC West. I'm going to
well
say it
let's
right
see.
now,
Let's see. Wow. So okay.
and they're going to be and they will be.
So it
Yes,
sounds like you're pretty high on Ty Simpson. Then, Mike, I
I
think,
am.
in my opinion, Mike, I think I understand the rationale of the Rams using some of their draft capital to get a potential Stafford replacement, but I'm not so sure Ty Simpson is that player. I mean, it's a bit of a reach, a bit of a gamble from LA, no? I don't know. Mike, what do you
Yeah,
think about
no,
that?
I agree. I mean, that's probably the most intriguing pick. Um, now, I think that with Stafford being 38, they're trying to look for the future, but yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, Simpson played 1 year in Alabama.
It's not a massive sample size there.
Not a big sample size. Uh, but the other, I gotta say, I am stoked to get Sonny Styles for the Commanders.
You probably thought he wouldn't fall to you, did you?
I would not have thought that he would have fallen to the 7 pick. Rumor has it that the Commanders were making noise that they were going to pick Delane, which kind of forced the Chiefs
Right.
to pick Delane because the Commanders wanted Styles all along.
So it was a bit of bluffing there from
A
the
little bit
Commanders
of a
front
bluff
office.
there. I love it. I love that
Wow.
pick.
Chess, not
And you
checkers,
got
huh?
to remember his dad was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons.
Hmm.
But I think I think the big winner in the first round, the Jets picked David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, tight end from out of Oregon, and then Omar Cooper was still available for their third pick in the first round. And rumor has it in the second round, the Jets may end up picking Garrett Nussmeier,
Mm.
the quarterback out of LSU.
So you think he'll be
Now, if the
the
Jets
third
do
quarterback pick then
that,
maybe, yeah.
yeah, the Jets do that, I think they're going to be the big winner in this draft this year.
Interesting. Well, they certainly don't do much winning on the field, so maybe winning the
Well, they,
draft.
you got to win sometime. But
I
then you
like.
got to also look at the Giants.
I was gonna say they're probably a big winner for me as well, right?
Yeah, getting Reese. That last year they got Abdul Carter.
It's a scary defense
They're
now,
going to
isn't
have
it?
a ferocious pass rush. I'm a little
Absolutely.
bit scared being a Commanders fan.
Well, you should be. You should be, yeah.
Yeah, well, not so much if you're a NFL football fan who is listening up in the tri-state area and in North New Jersey and the Meadowlands. I can tell you that right now.
For sure, for sure. B.O. Limberger, who was your winner last night, man, of this draft? What stood out to you?
Oh, I mean, I'm just excited to see what happens with Vegas, the Raiders. And I mean, I I think any team would have been I think this is kind of, it's what Jacksonville thought they were getting with Trevor Lawrence. I remember being down there when they got Trevor Lawrence. It's what they thought they were getting. I'm excited about Mendoza, man. It's going to be can he turn if he can't turn that team around. Now, look, it takes time, right? But in the next 3 years, I think it's going to happen faster than people think. His work, lead by example, and it's going to come from the top. So I know it's cliche to talk about him, but he's electric. I don't know. How about the Panthers taking an offensive tackle in the first round?
We saw a lot of tackles. This was, I
No,
think, in the top five for sure of most offensive linemen taken in the
I,
first round. So maybe not sexy for your headlines, but they're an important part of the team, right?
I think Bryce Young made him pick
Right.
the tackle out of Georgia.
I like Freeling as well. I think it's a good pick, but you got to get some beef there in front of Bryce Young, don't you?
Yeah. Tell you, the pick that kind of surprised me was Cardinals
Mm.
That's
picking
where I was
Jeremiah
going.
Love
Yeah, that's where I was going next, Mike. Yeah, it's
with
yeah,
all the holes the Cardinals have. They really
Mm.
didn't need another running back.
maybe a
Mm.
bit of a
Mm.
luxury pick there. I mean, they signed
Mm.
Algier as a free agent from the Falcons this
Hmm.
offseason. So a bit of a head scratcher in my opinion.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then Titans picking Tate as a number 4 pick.
I think the Giants were rubbing their hands together when they saw Love and Tate go in the two picks
Hmm.
before them, because a lot of people think Arvell Reese was probably one of the, if not the best player in the draft, just pound for pound.
Hmm.
Mm.
Jackson, what did you make of Jeremiah Love going to Arizona? A bit of a reach, or do you like the pick?
Yeah, it's a bit of a reach for me. Like you said, it's a head scratcher for me. I've got a lot of question marks on this one because you're playing your quarterback,
Who is
Kyler
the
Murray
quarterback?
is no longer there. I don't
They
know.
don't have a
Just
quarterback.
I know they don't.
They're going to run the Wildcat offense
Yeah,
with Jeremiah
yeah. I
Love at this
guess
point.
I
I'm
think
not
they.
too sure.
I think they might have to, Blake. And let's keep this in mind. So the Seahawks have drafted another quarterback from Notre Dame.
Running back,
I'm sorry, running back. They drafted another
Price.
running back in that division called Jordan Price.
The
And
price is right.
yeah, Price is right. And then you got Jeremiyah Love and Price, and they actually, believe it or not, they actually played each other at Notre Dame together, and they could
They'll
face
play
each
again.
other
Yeah.
twice in the NFC West. So that should be
This
very
must be.
fascinating to
I have
watch
to
this
get
season.
the look at the stats on that one, but this must be the first time that two running backs have been drafted from the same team in the first round. Like, surely that's
Yeah.
never happened before.
I think that was a smart pick by the Seahawks, picking last in the first round, particularly after having Walker leave to go to the Chiefs.
I
Right.
mean, given
Mhm.
the way the teams are built out, like, would it be crazy to think that Jadarian Price has a better rookie season than Jeremiah Love, given like the strength of the Seahawks versus like a struggling Arizona team? Like, it'd be kind of ironic if Price ends up having a more productive rookie season than Love, which I mean, I wouldn't rule it out at this point, to be fair. Other picks that I thought were interesting in this first round, the Cowboys traded up to get Caleb Downs, safety from Ohio State. I thought that was a really smart
Hmm.
pick. Mike, you're probably cursing to yourself seeing that one because I think it's a pretty smart pick. And then the Cowboys as well circle back to get a defensive edge from UCF. So pretty
Hmm.
solid first round from the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Cowboys need to do something with their defense and having Downs available that was a smart move on their part. And I do like their new edge guy, Lawrence from UCF.
Mm,
He's a bit of a beast.
mm.
Absolutely. I think another interesting pick was we saw a lot of receivers taken in this draft. So obviously, it was a receiver heavy draft.
Hmm.
Carnell Tate being the first one off the board to Tennessee. Jordan Tyson to the New Orleans Saints. And then we saw later in the first round, Makai Lemon, the Eagles actually traded up. It was an interesting scenario where the Pittsburgh thought they had Makai Lemon. They actually ended up calling him, but the Eagles traded up to take him just before Pittsburgh ended up taking a tackle. So interesting move there for the Eagles. Casey Concepcion uh, taken by the Browns, and then Mike mentioned Omar Cooper as well with the Jets' third pick in the first round. But I mean, you have to think probably Makai Lemon going to the Eagles, Jackson. That probably means that AJ Brown would probably be on the trading block moving on this offseason, and Lemon maybe slotting in there for the Eagles.
Yeah, most likely, Blake. I am with you. Losing AJ Brown is a big thing for the fan base of Philadelphia and for the organization. So GM Howie Roseman always knows how to make trades in the draft. He's just a tough guy. He is the trade genius in this NFL draft, and he knows how to get it done. He's like the hardest working man probably in all football GM overall in general it in this business. So on a business perspective, so and so Marquis Lemon, the USC wide receiver, he has very similar comparisons to Amaya St. Brown who plays for the Lions, although let's be real here. The Lions never made the Super Bowl. I think Marquis Lemon, who played it, who also played Brown, who also played at USC, um, did not his team did not make it to the Super Bowl or nor he will in a lifetime. But Lemon for USC that is a great pick by the Philadelphia Eagles. And and for this organization, that is going to be a replacement plug and play player. It'll be if you're an Eagles fan, you gotta love this player because he's a mixed up mentality and for me, he can really run the ball. He can do it all. He can do it. He can do all what you want. And so and so for me, I think that with AJ Brown, not being most likely not being with the organization anymore.
Well, there's rumors linking him with trade possibly with New England, it looks like.
Yes, and
So
so
you would think so. Otherwise,
yes.
I doubt the Eagles would draft a receiver in the first round if they didn't have plans
All I'm
on
saying to
trading
you, Blake, is
Brown.
that he has speed, he
Okay.
can catch the ball, and
That's
he
important.
can yes, and he has his tough hands that he can use, and I think
Okay.
there's a lot of reasons why you what there's really like to be a Eagles fan is because of that, because Lemon is by far your best playmaker, and I think he's going to, and I think, and I think his target Jalen Hurts is going to really love this player for what he in store for this Philadelphia Eagles team.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Jets, or I'm sorry, the Saints picked Tyson at number 8 over Lemon.
A lot of people had Lemon as, yeah, over him in their projections, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, particularly with Tyson's injury history.
It's a
Uh,
bit of a head scratcher in my opinion.
that was a head scratcher
I
for me.
personally had Lemon on my board. I had him ahead of. I think honestly there wasn't even much in it between the receivers. Like I think Carnell Tate going fourth overall is an interesting pick. Like I understand why they want to give. I honestly think um, that Tennessee was expecting to take Jeremiah Love actually, and I think that because Love went one pick before them, and I was very surprised to circle back to Jeremiah Love. I mean, I did not think he was going to go top three. Like I expected him to go in the top 10 for sure. But obviously we've seen running back positional value decreasing over time. And a lot of people say he's the best player in this draft. He's super talented, and that's great. But like we said, if you have a great running back, doesn't automatically mean they're going to be a great team. And Arizona is far from a great team. So Tennessee, you probably could say the same about them. But I think Tennessee was very surprised to see Love go before them. And so I guess they were thinking offense, they were thinking flashy. They've got their new logos and moved into a new stadium. They want to get some exciting offensive talent into that team to give Cam Ward a little bit of help. So I think Tate falls into that bill, but I think, Mike, to your point, I don't know if he's necessarily like, oh, this guy is like an amazing like lock-in receiver. I think I've seen people make arguments for Tate, for Lemon, for Tyson. A lot of people liked Omar Cooper from Indiana, Concepcion. I think maybe those two were more so the late first round guys, but I don't necessarily think Carnell Tate was good enough to be a top five pick. That's more so just the Titans wanting to draft offensive talent.
Mhm.
So I think the Eagles maybe were sitting there at their pick, which would have been 23 that they traded with Dallas, right? And then, or one of the later first round picks,
Mhm.
anyways. And they said, well, Lemon's still on the board. We think Pittsburgh's going to take him, which we know for a fact Pittsburgh was going to take them because they called Makai Lemon thinking
Mhm.
he was going to be their first round selection. And then bam, just like that, you take him from their out under their hands. So I know that all the Steeler fans there probably were not super excited about their. I mean, they ended up taking a tackle from Arizona State, Max E. Hanachor. I won't even try to pronounce his last name, but it's a classic Steelers pick. Get a tackle in there, but yeah, I think Makai Lemon at 20 is pretty good value, all things considered.
Yeah.
I
I,
would agree. I would agree with you there, Blake. But sorry to interrupt, Mike. But the other player that nobody is really talking about is Ruben Bryan Jr., the edge rusher from Miami. Stays in the state to go. The edge rusher from Miami goes from Miami the Hurricanes to Tampa Bay to play for the Buccaneers. Now, the last time
From
the
South
Buccaneers
Florida to
have
Central Florida.
yes, from South Florida down to Central Florida in the Tampa Bay region. Now, the last time the Buccaneers selected a player in state from the University of Miami Hurricanes, you have to go back to Warren Sapp of 1995. The last time the Buccaneers have selected a player from the University of Miami Hurricanes. So definitely going to be proud because because especially the family and brothers and the families who are loved ones, especially for the draft show that I watched on ABC, because the families and journeys from their stories and life from their athletes and their loved ones, but you got to think from um from this athlete from Ruben Ryan Jr. From South Florida, that you got to think he's going to be taking a 2 hour road trip from Miami just up the road down to Tampa Bay, which I don't know, you could get there faster in minutes on the road. You take it easy, but I would expect this should be an easy move from the transition to the pro level from college. And I think this family, especially for him, is going to work out very well for him. But this is going to be a great fit for Baker Mayfield, and and he's a stud. He can he can really he can really do it all, and it, including he can rush the ball. He can block each playmaker, and he can really and he can really wreck the game. And I think for me, Bayern Jr. is the perfect example for what this Buccaneers team is looking for, because because we mentioned about Mike Evans and Isaiah Boston. I think for me, so I think for me, for the best available player, that I still think they have a that to me I still think that they have a shot to take Daniel Boston, who I think could be your next man up, plug and play mentality player to replace Mike Evans. And I think the Buccaneers and Jason Light uh, and for this and for this organization and for the team are really going to what to fire on all cylinders on this West Coast offense, and knowing what the kind of weapons they have there on the team, which I feel like um for what they're looking for. So I and so Todd, and this Todd Bowles defense is going to really love what they're seeing, because like I said, this team has been missing a few key players, but I expect the Buccaneers to try to bounce back from what they did last season, and I think Brian Jr. is a perfect example of that.
Can't argue with that. I think it's good value for sure at that pick.
Another late round pick that I really like
Hmm.
is the Bears.
Mm.
Number 25, picking Dylan Fenneman, safety out of Oregon. I think that was a really good pick for the Bears.
I agree. I think he's really good value at that. I think we mentioned in our mock the safety value. Caleb Downs obviously being the standout safety in this draft, but I think Dylan Dienman is a really quality player for his position. I think the Bears got a really solid player there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
I think they got a steal.
I agree. I agree. I think that's a really smart pick for sure. I think another pick, um, Patriots ended up trading to with Houston and got a tackle to supplement their offensive line. The Chiefs got a defensive tackle with their second pick in the
Yeah,
first round.
out of Clemson.
They made that trade with the Rams, didn't they? The Rams got a cornerback from the Chiefs, and they got that late first round pick with the defensive tackle from Clemson. That's a good pick, to be fair. Obviously, the Chiefs went heavy on defense. We mentioned they traded up before Mike's Commanders to get Mansour Delane from LSU, the top cornerback in this class, probably the only elite cornerback, you would say. I think
Yeah. Well, they
he
needed
was
to replace Trent McDuffie.
exactly. So the Rams, I suppose the Rams rationale, I was listening to a few pundits today, kind of assessing that Rams pick, and they said, well, the Chiefs, excuse me, the Rams made the trade with the Chiefs for McDuffie, giving up their first round pick. They had that pick 13, who ended up being Ty Simpson because of that trade with Atlanta last year. So, in terms of like value, the Rams said, well, we traded for McDuffie, who we think can produce for us quicker than anybody else we can draft, and then we'll use our extra pick on a future plan, i.e., a Ty Simpson. So from a Kansas City perspective, two new defenders in that team, they both, I don't know. I mean, it feels like To me, it feels like Kansas City is kind of trying to plan for the future while also supplementing the team with obviously they signed Kenneth Walker. They've made some free agent acquisitions. They have Patrick Mahomes, so they're going to be a win now mode. But some interesting selections there, kind of acquiring some draft capital, retooling that defense a little bit. And but I don't think this is necessarily a draft where Kansas City is back and we should be putting them in our Super Bowl bets or anything like that to win the AFC. I'm not quite sure we're there yet, but two solid defenders kind of going into that Kansas City team, I think there.
I think a team to watch for tonight is the Buffalo Bills. They got 9 picks left.
So they traded out in
Mike,
the first round, right?
Mike, is
Yeah.
that because their hockey team is coming alive right now, and now the Bills Mafia fans are now hockey Mafia fans, which is electric.
Could be. I mean, winning helps.
The Sabres, what's the hockey
The
team?
Sabres.
Buffalo
But
Sabres are
Sabres,
doing pretty
yeah.
well right now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Man,
So
there are rollerblades coming out of the driveways right now. It's electric up there. They get behind anything. They're a great fan base.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got to get those Buffalo Sabre fans supporting the first pick for the Bills tonight in the second and third round. So Bills Mafia is all over their draft picks, and they're going to make them feel welcome for
Is this their
sure.
year, guys?
I don't know. What do you think the biggest need there is? Obviously, I think they made a trade for a receiver from Chicago. They got DJ Moore, right, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but they probably just go defense, right? I think they trust Josh Allen to kind of run that offense. I think maybe their defense let them down a little bit, so they're just going to try to compile some decent defensive
Yeah.
players. I think, Mike, is that what you're thinking as well?
I would say so. I mean, they came close to winning their last playoff game. Um, they just couldn't, pull it out. But they're not that far away from winning it.
For sure.
According to a website where people put real dineros down, they are the third favorite behind the Seahawks and the Rams right now.
Hmm.
I think people put a lot of trust into Josh Allen, particularly in the AFC. I mentioned the Chiefs maybe not what they were. So the Bills will be picking, they'll have the third pick tonight, 35 overall. So there'll be a lot of interest on that. Obviously, they'll want to get somebody they can plug and play there and kind of build into their system. So, but yeah, that doesn't shock me. I think the AFC is still, we're not 100% sure about the Ravens and the Chiefs both had down years, so we're not sure who's the class of the AFC. It could be the Bills still, for all we know. So
Hmm. Uh, Blake, so there are a few players that we should keep an eye on and
yes.
watch for
So
for the
before we
draft.
wrap up,
Right.
what should we be looking forward to tonight, Jackson? Second and third round, obviously on Friday night. So what should we be looking out for here on these two rounds tonight, man?
So we should be looking out for Gus Musmeyer from LSU. And, and
The quarterback,
yes, and yes, and so yes, and Jarrett McCoy from Tennessee is another player that I have my eye on. Um, After that, maybe a few of these defensive players. So Jarrett McCoy, Ilmaya McNeil Warren, I believe he's the brother of the Emil Nkunwawa who plays for the Seahawks, if I'm mistaken. So that's another player that I'll be watching. Brandon Class of South Carolina, he's a center back. Along with TJ Parker um, AJ Harley from Clemson, along with Derek Moore from Michigan, Mark Fields of Notre Dame, and then Sky Ball, UConn, and then
Wait, UConn? Are you talking about basketball? You must be talking about basketball, Jackson.
no, I'm
UConn.
not even kidding. There is a player listed in this draft that's named UConn for football. His name is Skylar Bell. He's a wide receiver for UConn.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Well, I think we should keep an eye out for Eli Stowers. I think you mocked him earlier than I mean you had him last week in our mock draft in the first round, so that did not end up happening. But I like the optimism there. Tight end from Vanderbilt, of course. Good to see Vanderbilt. I think he has a good chance of going tonight, second or third round. So keep an eye out for him. I think Denzel Boston, receiver from Washington, will be the best available receiver tonight. So somebody will try to snap him up sooner rather than later. And per usual, a couple of linemen on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, and possibly some good sort of later round receivers. And I think another guy to keep an eye out for is that I like is Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech, linebacker, got a good mustache. He's a winner, and I think he's going to be he's a linebacker from Texas Tech. I should say as well. I think he'll be a good player for a team that's in a position that's already winning, and he'll be a good culture guy as well. So those are the guys that I'm keeping an eye out for tonight. All right.
Interesting, interesting.
That will do it for our first round recap and draft preview here on Good Guy Sports. It was a very interesting draft in Pittsburgh last night. I think some surprising picks, some picks that we were expecting, and I think in these next couple of rounds we'll see a lot of the same. Jackson, Mike, Blake, thank you and happy drafting.
All right.